Hey, it's Mr. Shrum, and I'm back with a anatomy lesson walkthrough. Last time we looked at the principal arteries. Now we're going to look at the principal veins. I think I said principal arteries again at the end of the last video, and I meant veins. So what's a vein? What's an artery? Why do we refer to them as different things? Well, a vein is a blood vessel that carries blood back to the heart. Arteries carry blood to your body. The ones that are coming back, the blood vessels that send blood back, are veins. Blood flows from smaller vessels into larger ones. Veins from almost all of the body, the only exception is blood from the lungs, converge into two major blood vessels that empty into the right atrium of the heart. And we have the superior vena cava and the inferior vena cava. So firstly, we'll talk about the superior vena cava, and that's formed by the union of the left and right brachiocephalic veins. It empties blood from the head, neck, and upper extremities. This large vein lacks the one-way valve seen in most veins. So that's important to note. Most veins have a valve. The superior vena cava does not. The inferior vena cava is formed by the union of the left and right common iliac veins. The inferior vena cava has the largest diameter of any vessel in the body. It drains blood from the lower extremities and directly from these veins. So these veins are drained by this inferior vena cava. Ovarian or testicular veins, renal veins, inferior phrenic veins, the inferior portion of the diaphragm, that's what that means, and the hepatic veins from the liver. Veins draining the head and neck. We have the external jugular vein, the internal jugular vein, the brachiocephalic vein, and the vertebral vein. You can see all of those here. The external jugular vein drains blood from the scalp, portions of your face, and the superficial neck. The external jugular veins empty into the right and left subclavian veins, located just behind the clavicle. And the internal jugular vein drains blood from the brain, meninges, and deeper regions of your face and neck. So this one dealt with more surface level. This one's dealing with deeper regions of your faces and necks. And that internal jugular vein also empty into the right and left subclavian veins. The combination of internal jugular vein and the subclavian vein create the brachiocephalic vein, seen here. The right and left brachiocephalic veins unite to form the superior vena cava, and the superior vena cava drains into the right atrium of the heart. The brain and meninges also drain into the left and right vertebral veins. And that vertebral vein then joins with the brachiocephalic vein. You can kind of see that happening in this diagram. And then moving on, we have the veins of your upper extremities. So the arm has both superficial and then deeper drainage. So on the deep side, we have the radial vein, the ulnar vein, and the brachial vein. Superficially, we have the basilic vein, the cephalic vein, the axillary vein, and the median cubital vein. So what does all that mean? So we'll look at each of those. We have the radial vein that is on the lateral side of the forearm and drains from the internal regions of the hand. So all that hand blood gets drained through the radial vein. Then we have the ulnar vein that is on the medial side of the forearm and drains from the internal regions of the hand. So on the inside, radial deals with the, and then the ulnar vein, drains as well. The radial and ulnar veins join at the elbow to form the brachial vein, which continues on up to the arm, or throughout the arm. Radial, ulnar, and then the brachial. So they join at the elbow, going up. Then you have the basilic vein, and that's running on the medial side of the forearm and drains the superficial portion of the hand and medial side of the forearm. Then this basilic vein joins the brachial vein and at the armpit to become the axillary vein. So you can see that here. You have the basilic vein, and then that joins the brachial vein, and then that all becomes this axillary vein. Axillary, armpits, that's why those go together. The cephalic vein runs on the lateral side of the forearm and drains the superficial portion of the hand and the lateral side of the forearm. Typically, IV, intravenous lines are inserted into the cephalic vein near the base of the thumb, or in the accessory cephalic vein. And that's in the middle of the back of the hand. So anytime you see an IV being inserted on a medical TV show, or if you ever go to the hospital or visit someone in the hospital, you'll probably see this. The cephalic vein then joins with the axillary vein at the armpit. So everything joins back together at the armpit. The axillary vein is formed by the basilic vein, the brachial vein, and the cephalic vein. It then forms the subclavian vein near the clavicle. So this goes on further. The diagram doesn't show that part though. The median cubital vein is also a superficial vein. At the elbow, the median cubital vein connects the cephalic and basilic veins. Typically, this is the site of venipuncture, which is when you remove blood or add fluids to the body. If you've ever given blood before, that is where they get you. Now, moving on to the lower extremity, the veins of the lower extremities have deep and superficial groups too. So on the deeper side, you have veins like the tibial, the popliteal vein, the femoral vein, internal and external iliac veins, common iliac vein, and then more superficial, we have the small saphenous vein and the great saphenous vein. There are two pairs of tibial veins. You have the posterior and the anterior, which drain the foot and run upward. Then those tibial veins join together behind the knee to form the popliteal vein. And that vein becomes the femoral vein just above the knee. The femoral vein and several other veins of the leg and thigh form the external iliac vein. That external iliac vein joins with the internal iliac vein to form the common iliac vein here. So all these, while arteries branch out, veins are, you should think of veins going and forming together and joining one another because blood is running back to the heart this way. That can help you remember arteries versus veins. The left and right common iliac veins then merge to form the inferior vena cava. The inferior vena cava, the right common iliac vein, and the left common iliac vein are all pictured here. And those join together to form this one, the inferior, or the IVC. That'll be easier for me to say. Now, superficially, we have the small saphenous vein that originates on the lateral side of the foot and then continues upward and then joins with the popliteal vein right behind the knee. Then you have the great saphenous vein. That is a superficial vein that originates at the foot and ascends up the medial side of the leg and then drains into the femoral vein. The great saphenous vein is the longest vein in your body. So think of great saphenous vein is the longest vein in the body. The veins of the lower extremity drains into the heart through the inferior vena cava. The inferior vena cava runs parallel to the abdominal aorta on the right side. The inferior vena cava does not receive blood directly from the digestive tract, pancreas or spleen. Instead, the organs use the hepatic portal system. And that hepatic portal system is when the venous outflow from one group of capillaries is delivered to a second set of capillaries before being drained into the inferior vena cava. This portal system receives blood from capillaries in the intestines, the pancreas, spleen, stomach, and gallbladder. Veins from these organs unite to form the hepatic portal vein. And the hepatic portal vein delivers blood to the capillaries in the liver, which are called sinusoids. Sinusoids. The liver is then drained by the hepatic veins, which transport blood to the inferior vena cava. So in conclusion, the principal veins of the body carry deoxygenated blood back to the heart through the superior or inferior vena cava. So think of veins, vena, vena cava, however you want to remember it. Think of that connection. And that's it. So that is the end of our circulatory system lessons. And then there's the video about the issues that can go wrong in the circulatory system. But that's it before our semester break. So good luck with everything. I hope you all are doing well. And if you have any questions, be sure to ask me in Canvas or email me. You know how to reach me by now. So anyway, until next time, See you guys later. Bye-bye.